Hopefully this video will answer the information needed regarding rubrics. So the first thing you need to do in your course is navigate to grade setup. And perhaps you've already created rubrics, but this is just generally the way I would go. I would move over to the right hand side of the screen. I'd click add a rubric and I would go ahead and start building it. I already have one created, so I'm just gonna click this tab here. And this is an extra credit rubric. And what I've done is, here's my criteria for the rubric. Let's just say it was a 3-2-1 scale, and you can see the total points of the whole thing is worth 3, but then I have this extra credit option. So there's a chance that students could receive more points for something. I would title this whatever. I don't know if I title extra credit personally, but whatever description works for you. You can put a 0 here, and in fact, you don't even need the word excellent here. And so this is saying that this is worth 0 points. And then I would go ahead and obviously click save. And I would flip over to an assignment where I want to use that rubric. And I'm going to go ahead and use this assignment I've already created. I have not attached a rubric yet, but I've already started this assignment. I'm just going to edit it for now. So I have my assignment, I have my information. I'm going to scroll down to the grading part. One thing you have to make sure to do is make sure that it is a graded item. So if you don't have a grading category for it already, make sure you set that up. And then you're going to scroll down to the scale or rubric option. I'm going to select my extra credit rubric that I've already created, and you could create a new rubric right from here, but I already have one created, so I'm going to select that one. And there's a box here that says check, or that checks show to students. This means that students can see this rubric in the assignment whether or not they've made a submission. It's a little bit like it's a part of the assignment description. And I'm going to go ahead and click Save Changes. And then let's hop into that rubric, or that assignment, I should say. And it looks pretty similar to a student. They would see, the assignment description, they would see the rubric so they understand how they are graded. Now I'm just going to hop over to pretend that a student has submitted something and I'm grading it. And obviously in this case they haven't, but I can kind of work around this in my gradebook. So I'm going to go to this sample rubric, and you can see I can give the student a grade. And I'm going to actually remove this just for the purposes of this, but I can grade the rubric just based on how they did on the task at hand. So they were supposed to they had some criteria they were supposed to meet, and I'm saying they got a 2. But then they did manage to get some extra credit points. So I'm going to go ahead, and you can see down here the total points is 2 out of 3. I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 out of 3 in here, and you bumps it up to 3 out of 3. Now there is another option here altogether. Actually, I'm going to save this real quick. And then you can see that the student got a 3 out of 5, or I can even bump this up more, a 2. Now they got a 4 out of 3, and it calculates it as extra credit, as you can see in the gradebook. But you can, in your rubric, just as an FYI, not even put in that extra credit option at all. So let's just say this is another rubric. And I'm gonna give it a title. Go through this whole process here, and let me just hop over to materials just so I could show you. I'm going to take this sample rubric assignment and switch a rubric to this other rubric. And yes, I would like to do this. Click Save Changes. So now I've switched it over to that other rubric I made that didn't have the designation of extra credit on there. And if I go into my gradebook, using extra credit is as simple as, here's the score for my student. Oops, I gotta clear this override because it was already on here. Here's the score for this student, and at any point I can go in and I can just put in these extra credit points in here and click save. And you can see it has overridden that score. Now, it's up to you whether or not you think extra credit needs like a description, or for students to understand how they received extra credit, or are you arbitrarily just assigning points. So that's up to you, but hopefully that answers just kind of how you can walk through adding rubrics and adding extra credit to rubrics. And also a way, just as you saw here, that I can actually use a rubric without ever having collected an assignment. So if I wanted to use a rubric while a student was, say, giving a presentation, I could do exactly what I did here, create that assignment with the presentation and the rubric attached, and then I could go into the student as they were presenting and actually grade their assignment right from there. So if there are other questions about rubrics, let me know.